Welcome to this podcast, which will be covering digital transformation in Japan, assessing opportunities for European small and medium enterprises. My name is Lena Broeckaert, and this project took place as part of the Minerva program, supervised by the EU-Japan Center for Industrial Cooperation. We will first start with a brief introduction, followed by an overview of facts and figures of the digital transformation of the private sector. We will then look into how digital technologies have changed companies' business models and operations to finally evaluate business opportunities for European SMEs in Japan. We will then close this session with a short summary and conclusion. So, let's start first with a short description of what digital transformation is. According to the definition of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan, there are two main elements to look into when describing digital transformation. First, it is the process by which companies respond to rapid changes in business by using data or digital technologies to transform their products, services, or business models, responding to the needs of the customers and the society. On the other hand, it is also the transformation of the business itself by changing the organization's processes, operations, and the corporate culture to establish a competitive advantage. So why is it such a big topic in Japan? The country is actually facing multiple structural challenges. First, a diminishing workforce with an aging population. Then it is facing a low productivity compared to other advanced countries, and actually this productivity level has been decreasing over the past 10 years. The country is also facing the digital cliff, stating that 60% of the IT systems currently in operation will be older than 20 years by 2025, suggesting the systems are getting quite old. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted room for improvement for the private and the public sector when it comes to the digital transition. So all these elements combined together have set digital transformation as a key topic for the coming years for the country. In this context, the government of Japan has taken multiple initiatives to lead the country toward its digital transition. It has defined the concept of Society 5.0, which is described as a society where cyberspace and physical space are converging. To reach this vision, multiple initiatives were undertaken, including the publication of policies and measures that are covering strategies around advanced technologies, but also by including the digital component into its growth strategy plan. It has also set up various R&D programs, which are supporting more disruptive innovation and the development of cutting-edge technologies in the digital domains. Also, it has set up its digital agency in 2021, which is the agency in charge of developing e-government services, but also centralizing the public sector initiatives when it comes to digitalization. It has also set up ambitious goals for the development of smart cities, as the government is targeting to reach 100 initiatives by 2025. And last but not least, it is supporting actively the private sector transition by providing guidelines, help desks, but also by actively supporting the development of the startup ecosystem. So we have seen that the government of Japan has quite an ambitious agenda when it comes to digital transition. We will now look into facts and figures to have a better idea of where the country is actually standing. So, looking at the digital scorecard, it shows a set of metrics that help understanding where the country is positioning. For example, the Digital and Global Competitiveness Index indicate that Japan ranked 27th globally. Looking at the digital talents, only 1% of the total workforce was represented by engineering talents in the digital domain. When it comes to the digital government infrastructure, Tokyo is classified 84th in Smart City ranking, while the penetration rate of citizens using digital government application is quite low. These observations are also applicable for the digital industry, where penetration rates are below 10% for e-commerce and retail, telemedicine, and mobile banking. We can also see that the public investment in cloud is low, while the Japanese startup economy shows room for improvement with 11 unicorn startups in 2021. For example, in comparison, the United States counted 400 and China 150 the same year. In this context, what would be interesting is to see where the country, and in particular the private sector, is heading for the coming years. So the graph on the slide shows the current company adoption rate and the interest for future investment in given technologies. The data was collected based on a survey conducted by a domestic IT service provider. So on the left, you can see the corporate technology adoption rates going from low to high, and horizontally, you can see the interest for future investment also going from low to high. For example, on the top right, you can see the popular tech solutions, which are the technologies showing a company adoption rate already quite high, but where companies still show a great interest for future investment. This includes cloud solutions, including software as a service, and robotic process automation. On the left, we can see technologies with high adoption rate, but with low interest for future investment. And those include VPN, mobile application, and business chat, which had quite an increase in implementation during the COVID-19, since a lot of companies had to respond to the need to shift to telework. Then below on the right, we can see growing tech solutions. So those are the ones currently showing low adoption rates, but where companies show a high interest for future investment and include artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, but also digital contract, signature, and stamp systems. Another interesting category is the promising tech solution. These are technologies that have low adoption rate for the moment, but which interest for future investment has been growing very fast over the past years. Those include solutions in relation to data management, including data analytics, big data, or dashboards, but also solutions for cybersecurity. Finally, on the left, we have untapped technology solutions. So those are solutions where adoption rate is low and where interest for future investment remains low as well. These include robotics, drones, 5G, enterprise architecture, as well as blockchain. Okay, so now let's look at differences in adoption rate according to company size. So the blue column represents the adoption rates of small and medium companies, while the purple ones indicate the ones for large firms. Here it is clear that large companies are leading the digital transition and also that the adoption gap is quite important, while this applies to all the technology solutions. This is reflected in next priorities in digital investment, which differs according to company size. For example, for small and medium enterprises, they indicate that their first priority for digital investment are digital contract, signature, and stamp systems, followed by cloud solutions for software as a service and robotic process automation. In contrast, when it comes to priorities in investment for large companies, they indicate that AI is the first area of interest, followed by big data and zero trust security solutions. We can clearly see that there is a fragmentation when it comes to future trends for SMEs and for large companies. There's also a strong sector effect when it comes to the relevant technologies for a given industry. For example, the financial industry will look more into cloud, data, trust services, or artificial intelligence. And in contrast, for the construction industry, we will be focusing more on augmented reality or virtual reality, connected devices with sensors, drones, or mobile device management. For the manufacturing, we will look more into IoT, robotics, or dashboard solutions, while for services, public cloud solutions or business chats will be more relevant. Okay, so now that we have a better idea of where Japan's corporate landscape is standing in terms of digital transformation, let's have a look at how digital technologies have changed the way companies operate, but also how it has changed the products and services they offer. So let's start with how digital technologies have changed the way companies operate. First of all, we have digital tools and IT systems. As already mentioned during the introduction, Japan is characterized by a high level of legacy systems, meaning that a lot of Japanese companies are relying on old in-house systems, which maintenance is very often ensured by third-party providers. The COVID-19 and the need to implement telework has accelerated the transition to cloud for many companies, and this went hand in hand with the increase in the demand for software as a service solutions to support back office operations, but also with the emergence of the need for vertical SaaS solutions specific to industries. When it comes to marketing operations, we see quite an important gap between small and large companies. For example, for small companies, they are still focusing on the maintenance of their homepage, while the implementation of digital marketing is not a standard practice. In contrast, for large companies, the use of SNS, digital marketing, online sales, and automated marketing is a common practice. Also, large industry foreigners have started looking into advanced marketing leveraging biometrics or artificial intelligence. For supply chain and logistics, the pandemic has been quite an accelerator and has raised the awareness around the digitalization, and in particular has increased the need for real-time data visualization along the supply chain, for example, in inventories and warehouses. However, in practice, we see that the digitalization of the supply chain and logistics remains quite limited and that not many companies have actually implemented sensors or have an actual vision of the real-time data. Also, sharing data with business partners is not a very common practice either. Finally, looking into manufacturing practices, the industry actually recognizes the benefits of connected industries or advanced manufacturing. However, in practice, the implementation of technologies such as IoT, AI, or extended reality is not something very common. Industry voices indicate that the next priority when it comes to digitalizing manufacturing processes concern production and industrial design processes. Now let's move to the way digital technologies have changed products and services in key industries in Japan. So first of all, we have the automotive industry, which has seen the emergence of connected cars using sensors or cameras. Also the emergence of infotainment services within the car, but also the release of automated vehicles with automated driving. Those have also increased the need for more safety, both due to the increase in process data and information, but also to ensure the safety of the drivers and the passengers. Then we have the healthcare industry, which also faced quite a lot of changes. For example, drug development and discovery, which is enhanced by artificial intelligence. We also have the emergence of telemedicine services and the Internet of Medical Things relying on connected devices, and which are very often linked to online platforms as well. And finally, assisted diagnosis and surgeries with advanced robotics and artificial intelligence complementing doctors' tasks. When it comes to the financial industry, we have the emergence of digital wallet systems, cryptocurrencies relying on the blockchain, but also platform solutions such as internet-based lending or investment advices with robo-advisors. Also in the insurtech segment, we have more and more solutions for usage-based insurance. When it comes to the retail industry, obviously we have online sales and omnichannel, but also in-store virtual reality and augmented reality, which are an emerging segment right now. And finally, we also have unmanned stores, which is also a growing trend in Japan. Finally, we have the platform economy, which is quite broad, but which has heavily disrupted the service industry with subscription models or by bringing ecosystem models with key players in Japan such as Rakuten or Amazon. The sharing economy is also a growing segment with solutions for mobility, shared rooms, and so forth. So these emerging trends are increasing the need for industry-specific, niche solutions using deep tech solutions such as artificial intelligence, IoT, sensors, secure data platforms, and many more. Okay, so now that we have a better overview of the market trends in Japan and the progress of the corporate landscape when it comes to digital transformation, let's have a look at business opportunities for European small and medium companies in Japan. So what is important to understand first is where is digital innovation coming from? So Japan is characterized by a high corporate R&D in terms of volume, but those are targeting low-risk investments which do not lead to disruptive innovation. Also, the startup ecosystem and the venture capital markets are underdeveloped when compared to other developed countries. In this context, startups are driving digital innovation in established industries, with corporate giants teaming up and leveraging their technologies by organizing open innovation programs, by creating partnerships, or by setting up, for example, joint ventures. Large corporate ventures also look abroad for innovation they cannot find locally, as we can find many examples of large Japanese companies doing investments and partnerships with American and Asian firms, but also with European companies and European startups. This represents a window of opportunity for European companies to fill the gaps in disruptive innovation, which results from a comparatively small startup ecosystem and venture capital market. On this basis, let's look at identify opportunities for European companies with some examples of successful use cases of European exports to Japan. So first of all, we have solutions for secure data platform and IT security, this in response to the transition of companies to the cloud. As we have seen, the demand for trusted services, secure data transfer has been a key trend. The high level of legacy system requires maintenance of old IT systems. So we have here the examples of Estonian companies Cybernetica and Planetway, which are specialized in trust services and provide solutions for secure data transfer platforms. Those have direct customers or are partnering with local system integrators to deliver their solutions. The same applies for Compumatica from the Netherlands, which offers tailored solutions to deliver secure utility network and has partnered with TEPCO, one of the largest electric utility provider in Japan. The transition to cloud has also increased the demand for software as a service solutions, in particular in the areas of robotic process automation, as well as solutions for data analytics, process streamlining, and marketing automation. Vertical segments also appear to be an untapped market. We have here an example from France, which is Provence, which is a company delivering solutions for automated marketing and which has been collaborating with a local system integrator to deploy its solution in Japan, as well as with Itochu, one of the largest general trading company in Japan. Moreover, we also identified opportunities for e-government services and smart cities, as the Japanese government has started taking strong initiatives to complete its digital transition, while Europe is actually recognized for its best practices. We have here the example of KMD from Denmark, which is specialized in the provision of e-government services and which was acquired by the Japanese giant NEC in 2018, which aimed to develop its business line for e-government solutions. We also have opportunities when it comes to advanced manufacturing for solutions including sensors, data visualization, but also solutions for industrial product design, including digital twins and simulations. For example, the German company Senit has entered the Japanese market by offering software solutions that predicts equipment failure through 3D simulations by building virtual factories in cyberspace. The company has conducted experimental studies with Hirotech, a leading Japanese manufacturer specialized in the production of automotive body parts. More recently, Metron, a French startup, has been delivering its solutions, which provide an AI-based platform to support energy management and reduction in factories. Its clients include Japanese giants NTT and Onron. Solutions supporting the development for automated driving and connected cars is also an important trend here in Japan. We have the example of Veniam from Portugal, which has exported its intelligent networking software for connected cars and autonomous driving, and which explored its solution jointly with Denso, which uses Veniam solutions to leverage data transfer across network in a secure manner. Another example is the French company EasyMile, which offers a software solution for self-driving technology and entered Japan through business matching events. When it comes to the healthcare sector, it offers many opportunities leveraging advanced technologies for connected devices, telemedicine, or clinical trials and drug development. As we see with the example of Koala Health from Sweden, which provides connected devices for cardiac diagnosis and digital health. The company entered in partnership with Asahi Kasei to jointly explore the heart failure market. Another example includes Sidekick Health from Iceland and Sweden, which delivers a platform that combines clinical validation using gamification, artificial intelligence, and personalized experience for patients. The startup partnered with Japanese Sampo on a pilot project and a proof of concept focusing on treating diabetes. When it comes to the financial and insurance industry, the emergence of platforms and cryptocurrencies and usage-based insurance have opened new opportunities for disruption. Examples of European export to Japan include the French company Shift Technology, which provides a decision-making platform designed for insurance fraud and claim handlers to increase their capacity to detect a wide spectrum of fraudulent claim behaviors. The company was introduced to the Japanese market through a program organized by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, which allowed the firm to gain visibility and get in touch with local insurance companies. We also have the example of WeFox from Germany, which partnered with the Japanese insurance company SBI Holdings by offering its digital platform for insurance information management for consumers, insurance brokers, and insurers by leveraging technologies such as AI, cloud, or big data. The retail industry has seen also important disruption, both in online and offline activities. Those open opportunities for advanced marketing solutions, API solutions, and interfaces offering improved customer experience, but also technologies supporting the development of unmanned shops. So examples of successful European use case in Japan include Vertusize from Sweden, which offers online fitting solutions. As a measure of its success, the company was used by 20% of Japanese e-commerce websites for clothing by 2018. So there are obviously plenty of other opportunities in multiple areas, including green tech solutions, infrastructure and construction sector, as well as in agri-tech and in the gaming industry. Industries and examples which were presented today are an exhaustive list, and those send a positive signal when it comes to the opportunities for European companies in Japan in the digital domain, which is worth to be further explored. So let's move on now to our summary and conclusion. So we have seen that Japan still shows room for improvement when it comes to the digital transition, and that awareness has been positively evolving, in particular in the context of the pandemic, combined with the strong signal sent from the government. In overall, established companies indicate that the improvement of business operations remain the key interest for digital investment in the coming years, raising the demand for trusted services, cloud, data management, and software solutions supporting back-office processes, as well as the demand for real-time data for the manufacturing, supply chain, and logistics industry. On the other hand, investments of established companies in creative, innovative products or services leveraging digital technologies remain quite limited. This represents a window of opportunity for European companies that could fill the gaps by bringing disruptive and trustful solutions, since Japan is still characterized by an underdeveloped startup ecosystem and venture capital markets. For European startups, large corporate venture capitals also represent opportunity to get funding and growth, since industry's giants are seeking abroad for innovation they cannot find in Japan. Those may represent interesting partners to potentially enter the market. If you would like to have more information on this topic, you can download the full report via the link indicated on the slide, where you will find more detailed figures and where use cases which were presented today are further developed. I can also be contacted via LinkedIn, and for more support and guidance, you can always reach out to the EU Japan Center for Industrial Cooperation via their website. I thank you very much for your attention.